Do you do like an intro?
No, lately I just do whatever the fuck I want.
Right.
You can do an intro. Rob Carlin. Introduce yourself for the crowd while I adjust my microphone.
Oh, okay. I'm Rob Carlin. I train over at Vital, and I've been there for, 6-7 years now?
It's been a while.
Something around there.
Something like that.
Lost track.
Go by Drunk Rob sometimes, or used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's like the best. That's like the perfect nickname for you. Like, yeah, it is Drunk Rob. It's the best.
Yeah, I guess that comes from me just being kind of dopey and mumbling.
Shit, we're fighters, man. That happens.
I got that nickname completely sober, but I've gotten like knocked out the day before. Yeah. I showed up to work all concussed, slurring, and they were like, fuck.
Dude, I went to the weed store yesterday right after I did a private session with some friends of mine. Skipped the pad and it kicked me in the back of the head. Like I'm like wobbly. I'm like I was like, we're done. And like an hour later, I was like, I just got to go get like a little bit of weed because I'm out. And I'm up there. I'm like, the girl's talking to me. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Huh? And then one of the girls was like, you need to go fucking rest. And I don't usually listen when fucking people tell me that. But I came home, sat down on the couch, was like, kept fucking echoing. I was like, God damn it, she's right. I need to fucking need to rest. And so I did and just sat on the couch and edited videos. But that like concussed. But like I said, I was pretty sure I was dehydrated. Also, I can't even talk. See, but already I think I was dehydrated. Because I went for like a long ass hard run right before that. And I know I sweat a lot. And I don't remember really drinking much water after that for a while.
Well, that'll do you.
No shit. And so, yeah. So yesterday I drank like a liquid IV and a bunch of water and stuff, but I still wasn't feeling good. And this morning I felt way better, like night and day. But
yeah, getting dehydrated and then getting hit in the head thing is something I try to avoid as often as possible.
You're telling me. Like, I'm also I was out of creatine I take like 10 grams of creatine a day. And that like really helps your brain stay hydrated and a lot of stuff. But yeah, I'm out for like 7 days. So I'm for sure losing a little bit of that brain mass, you know.
When I tried creatine, I was doing the 10 grams a day as well. But I kept, like, whenever I would go from work straight into jiu-jitsu, I'd get like the worst cramps. I was cramping the whole time, and everybody said I wasn't drinking enough water, but I was over like a gallon and a quarter a day.
Your body, it's still like, were you doing the loading phase? Because I don't like the loading phase. I'll start at like 3 grams a day and go all like over like a month and start loading it back in. But my pre-workout also has a little bit of creatine. It has like 3.3 grams. Use the Optimum Nutrition pre-workout. And I'll do usually 1, maybe 2 a day. And then I just drink a shaker full of creatine.
This is like the only source of creatine I consume on a normal basis. And I don't think it's all that much.
It's not that much. And it's probably, man, more and more shit's coming out about like the ingredients on that stuff and about how it's actually processed and certain things. So I would imagine it's not very effective, even if it is, even if there is creatine. But it's like one of like the cheapest supplements you can fucking get, man.
Yeah,
just do it.
And I did like the research about it, and everything came back as like, this is a low risk, high reward drug.
100%.
It's over the counter. Well, it's what it is.
Everything's a fucking drug.
Yeah, exactly. It's a blanket term, but everything seemed to be coming back great, but I didn't get any stronger, and if anything, I was cramping like crazy, like to the point where I thought I was going to tear like a hamstring. Like,
oh shit!
Like it was locked up.
Okay.
To where I had to like stop rolling and stretch it out. And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
So
all I was trying to do is put my toe to my butt so I could bridge. and it just
Were you like
seized.
mid-camp on this? Like, were you going pretty fucking hard regularly already, though?
Well, I generally, when I'm not injured, I'm already going pretty fucking hard. But during camp, I just bump it up 1, maybe 2 days, and I add like 2 or 3 runs in. So it's not like my out of camp isn't dissimilar to my in camp.
But even in that could add to like an overuse thing, especially in the hamstrings if you're adding that many runs. I'm just trying to find like a pattern here. Just, find like a logic. But I would try again and drop your dosage down. So you don't have to go fucking 10 grams a day right off the bat just because, that's, I guess, because they used to always say, 5 grams or 3 grams or whatever the fuck it was. And then they started doing all these studies on the brain at 10 grams a day, and it's, incredible. So when I have a lot of creatine, a whole pads, how often are whole pads? 30 rounds a night, maybe?
Probably
sometimes 25, 30. Especially when you have a bunch of fighters. No headaches.
Yeah.
Take the creatine away. Right now, I'm like, fuck, dude.
If we have 3 people in camp, you're holding pads for at least an hour plus.
Mm-hmm.
And I do not envy that.
I like it.
The coach's life is brutal, man.
But so here's kind of
I don't know how your elbows are still
my elbows
intact.
fucking suck. I'm holding it up like this all the time. People are like, are you trying to give me a dap or a pound? I'm like, no, my elbow's fucked. I'll just be holding my stuff like this, like you're trying to say bye. I'm like, fuck, dude. All the time.
Yeah, I can't do it, especially with those big Thai pads. If you got somebody throwing a hard cross, you're putting your arm in the most vulnerable position to try and stretch to get them to reach the pad.
True. Well,
and it's this right here. There's nothing really for me to go back from.
Well, that's why I rely on. I'm not going to do that with a beginner. You guys have a lot better control. You guys have a few years, 6, 7 years, whatever it is, under your belt. No disrespect, but Jagger, he's too wild. That's the one where I'm like, fuck, my shoulder hurts today. But even Juan will fucking let her rip a little bit. It's I really got to brace. Each fighter has their little adjustments that I have to make to keep myself safe. And I have to learn my fighters for that. When I used to hold pads for Darren. Remember that?
That's so weird.
Yeah, and he's super flowy. And you tap me on the chin. I'm like, it's not the biggest deal because he wouldn't do it hard. It'd just be a little bump. But still, it's I know what he's doing, but I need to know how he is, and I need to practice that in order to keep myself safe to a degree. So when we got really in tune with each other, it was fine. But in those first, or if we're out of time or haven't been training for a while, it would throw me off. And Crew Jones is I fucking hate it. But Darren holds exactly like Crew Jones, and he knows that pattern and stuff like that. So he can do it right off the bat. It's just he also likes the other side. So as a coach, I try to facilitate as much as I can do to help that growth. But again, you have to know your fighters. And that's where you're bam and fucking blast, but I don't have to give you a super long reach. I can kind of keep myself in front of you a little bit. Guys like Darren and I to constantly move, constantly circle, and it's just all flow. One, I have to fucking sit there and brace.
Yeah, I noticed I'm a lot more flat-footed than just about everybody else.
Do you think that's a lack of discipline thing, or you think that's just your style?
I don't know. I think it's my style.
I mean, you can always add a little bit to your style. I'm just
as convenient as it is to just blame it on, but that's the way I am. I shouldn't do basic fundamentals. No, I definitely think it's bad, and I have put more focus into footwork. Working angles. I just never felt that staying up on my toes helped me because I always like to be as planted as possible. In wrestling, when we tie up, I see clinching as tying up. And even though I don't have as much experience like in the clinch with like elbows and whatnot. The clinch flow feels really natural to me, to where I can manipulate a lot bigger, better people because I'm flat-footed in wrestling.
Well,
like,
that's
I
a lot of what you're supposed to do. Yeah.
Like trying to steer the boat. I understand like good head position. The only thing is when Juan swims over with like those elbows, man, they crack me.
Well, Juan's fucking pro. You know, like it's not. Say like who was like, XJ. He's like, you get this fucking look. I'm like, yeah, because I'm fighting for me in this stage. Like I'm no longer just playing. I'm actually like coming at you. And he was like, because I like to push the head back on the ropes and start chopping away. And but yeah, he's like, those fucking elbows are vicious and stuff like that. And so once you get to like a higher level, especially like we're talking about Juan, being that he's still an active fighter, still taking, like he's fighting at the end of the month. It's he has to stay sharp on it. Like he can't just be like, oh, I'm going to play today or I'm going to go hard today, like how I do. To where I can be a little bit loose in my discipline, even though I'm not going to let any of my fighters be loose in their discipline. I'm kind of strict. But yeah. Remember Kevin Johnson? He's like Team Warrior Spirit. He comes in and spars us sometimes. Those weird axe kicks. Anyway,
the name sounds familiar, but I can't put a face to it.
You know him. Anyway, he was just like, he comes in like last week. He's like, you guys are the Fire Nation and all this stuff.
Oh, this is the dude with the dreads. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. And he goes, he's like, you're fucking strict. Your classes are strict. I'm like, oh, is it that bad? And like everybody's like, I'm like, well, I'm an army rat. He's like, me too. But I like it. I like being strict. Like, you guys need to fucking have your shit together. Technique, especially like, think about like, always say higher level technique, like good technique. That's like the hardest thing to, and as a beginner, to kind of put together. Like anybody can throw their limbs at the pads or at an opponent or just push themselves as hard as they can, be undisciplined about it, be wild like Jagger. But he's getting better. I don't mean to keep bringing him up. But once you're higher level technique, you can minimize those mistakes and kind of build up your cardio and your pace and how to go hard and when to go hard and all that shit. Those undisciplined moments are like, that shit cost you.
Oh yeah, I see it a lot in like my gas tank. Like when I get desperate, if I've run out of options and I'm still up on the ropes, there's about to be a huge amount of wasted energy.
Well, you allowed yourself to get against the ropes, so
yeah. So it's been like a little bit of a domino effect, but it really kind of like crescendos there at the end, where it's like I need to make a move now, and I'm in a really bad spot.
Yep.
And it's like being a little bit undisciplined does help in that regard, because it's like at that point I'm relying on like instinct. Like I know, I know, like if Juan gets me there, I know the head kick is coming, and I know it's coming hard. So it's like I need to make something happen. And if I had just stayed in my discipline and I tried nothing, then I wouldn't venture out and see like what else is there for me to do. You gotta do
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like I try and think about it like when I'm teaching single legs for wrestling. It's like if I hit the end of my rope and my 2 or 3 go-to setups haven't worked, I said make it ugly.
Yeah.
Like if I can't do it clean, I'll do it ugly.
Yep, make it ugly. That's something I've kind of gotten away from saying that because of the technique thing. Like if you're in there and it's got to be an ugly fight, make it ugly. They used to say that to me too.
Yeah,
like,
fuck it.
Make it a fight. Your goal is to fight, not to be pretty necessarily. Yeah. So there's people like, oh, I can't be pretty. This is not my style. Like, well, is your goal to fight your style? Or is your goal to win the fight?
Right.
And there's a lot of people that kind of find themselves in between that, because especially in Muay Thai, like the beauty of it and the art of it, having high level technique is important. And there are sanctioning bodies and judges out there that score that over like it being ugly. So it kind of depends. But at the same time, if you drop somebody with an ugly head kick or an ugly cross and it doesn't go to the judges, hey, guess what? You took it out of their hands. And that's what Crew Jones used to always teach me, is don't leave it in the judges' hands.
Yeah. Like, you get, at some point, I see some guys struggle with this. They'll be losing or on the losing end of like a very technical fight. And when it comes down to that last round, why would you stick with your game plan?
Yep, throw it out the window and go all in.
Yeah, like it's time to just try and make some shit happen.
Who's that? Like, I don't know, a big UFC guy, but isn't like Michael Chandler? Who's the guy that fucking does that shit? He just like, fuck it, I'm gonna win or I'm gonna get knocked out. A lot of them.
Well, it would be Michael Chandler.
This is a while ago. The last,
but his last fight with Patty was atrocious. Well, no, because he lost that ability that we're talking about. This was a long time ago.
Yeah. Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay. That happens.
Michael Chandler would have been like the go-to guy for that statement, like do or die, win or lose. If he's on the losing end of a fight, he's going to throw caution to the wind.
Yeah.
But he never did that on his last fight against Patty. I'd say the main dude that comes to mind is either Justin Gaethje or Dustin Poirier, but more so Gaethje.
Yeah.
Gaethje will make a way more wild play than Poirier will, in my opinion.
Okay.
Poirier kind of sticks like to his game plan throughout and makes like little adjustments. But if Gaethje gets tagged and there's blood in the water, even if it's his, he's like, fuck it.
Yeah, we got to win this. And he's got some rocks for hands, man.
Oh, yeah. And none of them are pretty. No. He's like the epitome of make shit work.
He's like the one I don't follow because of this. But I totally, like, you can't deny that fighter's mindset. That shit right there you're talking about, you cannot teach that drive. Tell somebody to like, all right, fucking make it ugly. Give caution to the wind. You either get knocked out or they do. Can't tell somebody to do that and they'll just like, okay, sure, coach. You have to have that inside you. You have to have that drive, that fucking go.
But I guess in like the same breath, some people have too much of it.
Yeah, to where they're only willing to go like that.
Yeah, to where the moment they get touched, they're like, fuck it, time to throw a spinning back fist and a wheel kick. Like two things I've never tried in sparring.
I like the stay disciplined approach, but there is definitely a time to throw that caution to the wind.
Yeah, and it's like round 3 with 2 minutes left.
Right.
That's when you hit the fucking button.
Well, and
you don't hit the eject button 30 seconds into round 1 because the dude landed clean on you twice.
Exactly. Well, it's funny you mentioned that because when Anthony was on here, we were talking about round 3 of his fight at Brian Johnson's. And he had lost the first 2, like, decidedly. And Crew Jones and I, like, we were very much on the same page as coaches. And
what I like about you guys is you don't feed me bullshit in my corner. So I know you weren't feeding him bullshit. Like, if I lost a round, Crew Jones gets in my face and goes, you fucking lost that. Yeah. You need to get it back right now.
Exactly.
That helps me, like, click.
You know where you're at.
Because sometimes I'm not feeling as hurt and I know I landed clean on that guy. And it's not like I'm keeping a running count.
Exactly.
Like, if I win two exchanges, I go back to my corner. Fuck. Got this in the bag. And, and then Crew Jones brings me back to earth.
Yep. And it's like, no, you still got to fight this out. Well, so Anthony's gets back in the cage. We're out and side by side. We're getting ready to start the timer, everything, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, you're down 2 rounds. It's like, you have to go all in on this one. And like, he kind of hears me and is like, and Crew Jones is like, well, don't say that because we don't say it too loud. Or he's like, because we don't want to break his mentality and have him be like, oh, fuck. But And he knows, I know what he means. And after we talked, I was like, I'm not willing to not say that. You're down 2 rounds. I don't give a fuck. You go all in on this round. Like, it's the last chance.
Yeah.
It's like there's not going to be another a get-together where we get to make an adjustment. It's not going to happen. You have to go all in. If that's my last instructions before that bell rings, then that's what it is.
Yeah, you can question if you're supposed to win this or not afterwards. But while you're in it, you need to be completely focused. Mm-hmm. You need all the information that you need in that fight right then.
Yep.
Like if you're getting lit up with a cross, you got to tell me, oh, you're dropping your front hand when you throw and he's eating you alive.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be nice about it. I don't want you to be nice about it at all.
And I want to, the thing that comes beyond that, where as a coach, where this clicks in for me, is I want to have an adjustment ready for you. By the time you have them, like, all right, you're dropping your hand, you're eating this. I want you to switch stance when you drop this hand. I want you to switch stance and fire that uppercut, or block here and throw a jab. Blah, blah, blah. I want to have an adjustment ready for that. Okay, so like, boom, boom. Oh, I felt it. Boom, boom. Oh, fuck, you got me again. Okay, what was the adjustment? This. Boom. I make that adjustment and it works. Make that adjustment again and it works. Make that adjustment again and it works. And so again, they're looking to make those adjustments too. Mm-hmm. So throughout the fight, you're trying to find this. You're constantly downloading this information, applying it in real time. Right?
Yeah.
So, and that's why you have your coaches in your corners, so that they can have the eyes on that you don't.
Yeah, his fight was a great fight, and it was super technical, but like at a certain point, I don't know, because Anthony's conditioning was phenomenal going into that. Like the dude didn't get tired in the Shark Tank whatsoever. Mm-hmm. But that third round, it might have been like the damage on him, but he looked exhausted.
I think he still did okay. I think it was, so after talking with him, he just couldn't get anything going. He was at the end of the other guy's range. Everything he would do would just kind of start to get stuffed, and he would back up a little bit and give him the range that he needed. And he never broke himself back out of that. Like, stand your ground, maybe go in and fucking smush fight, pocket fight, rather than trying to constantly reassess, re-gauge, and adjust in the ring. Like, some of the adjustments were there, but like I can't remember, EJ was the kid's name. I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, that little hop front kick, kept getting him with that, and that was a little bit more in the second and third round. But you just got to jam in on those. Like certain techniques, certain adjustments, or especially being that he was kind of backing up the entire time, you're not going to have enough space to really parry out of that. It's going to land. And if they're fast to land like a leg kick or something like that, you're going to eat those. And he had really good knees coming forward, especially his lead knee.
Anthony's guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember
mentally replaying it.
It was like, a lot of it took place on the fence, which I know we don't really do too much of over at Vital, which I kind of wanted to change.
So here's Crew Jones and I have been talking about this exact thing. He called me last night after sparring and was like, well, it was like everybody was backing up. It's because Juan, Crew Jones, and myself march everybody fucking down. So they're backing up the entire time. Of course, like, we're going to bully them. So they're like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And that's an adjustment we need to make. We need to make sure that they're going forward. Like Logan had a great fight. He was forward the entire time. He had his opponent. He was gassed. Disrespect to Logan. But he had his opponent against the cage the entire second round. So it's like leaning against it. So he had his way with him. And that's why I try not to be overly critical on Anthony's fight, is because the weekend prior, it was just the smokers at West Coast for the beginners. But they all did exactly what we wanted. They marched their opponent down, fired away, fast, first, and forward. And they're still beginners. We are looking to make adjustments. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But Anthony's fight, higher level. But Anthony fought up. I don't know how many more fights that guy had, but it's okay. he needed to learn to make a few more adjustments.
That dude definitely had like the Skarbowski like swagger to him, where he was. I was like, man, Anthony looks in way better shape than this dude, but he just had that like confidence with that gut.
This morning with GSP
and like the skinny legs, and I was like, oh, if he's got that about him, this might not be great.
Well, in that forward pressure, but he was really fast on his feet and really, really good with his footwork, and Anthony is too. But it's funny you say that about Skarbowski. Because I fucking went there.
Yeah.
But he was in LA with Pablo Tosha, Master Sal, like guy from Bloodsport, and, Blood In, Blood Out, and all those fucking movies. Master Salhin's good friend from Sortanical back in Thailand. Super weird, the connection, but I'm like in Paris. I'm like, oh yeah, he's in the other spot, which is fine. And because it was the holidays, and then I was in Amsterdam at the same time. But I went to South Holland, which is Breda, trying to go to Hemmer's gym, and he was in I can't remember. He was in the United States or something like that. I was messaging him like, hey, let me know, when and where. He's like, oh, I'm actually out of town. But it's kind of funny because over at Wild Style Gym, they're having him back over on the 24th. So I'm going to go up there and do a seminar there. But so this time I don't got to go all the way to Breda, South Holland. To fucking go try again.
It's a little bit of a shorter trip.
A little bit. But man, fucking Amsterdam was the shit. Paris was cool. I only went there to go to Skarbowski.
How was like sparring over in Holland? Because
I didn't get to spar in Holland.
I heard
I got the drill.
That they brawl. Like there's no...
They throw power in every shot. But it's controlled power. So it's not like... It is hard, but it's not super wild. It's just strong. They train to go hard. Like how we do. Like we train to hit hard. Manipulate the body, like drop, bop, bop, bop.
Yeah, because I think we, like amongst the fighters, we spar pretty hard.
Everybody that comes to our gym says that. Like, you guys fucking spar hard here. Even on our lighter days, they're saying that. I mean, I'm not going to start throwing the names out, but like, there's a bunch of people recently that have made the trek out and they're like, you guys fucking spar hard. Yeah, I like that though. I don't want to, because in Thailand, yes, they just play. They play spar, and we do have those rounds, especially when we know
their fights are also like sometimes they're play fights.
A lot of times, like, it's very technical.
If it's a big name versus a big name, they're not looking to necessarily take each other's head off all the time.
Right. Well, and their tradition is they fight like every 2 weeks or even every week or whatever. They're fighting all the time. So you can't spar hard.
With how we fight, there's none of that.
It's hard to even, man, it was hard back when I was fighting to take a fight like on 4 or 5 weeks notice, 3 weeks notice, which we would do. But because you're constantly just battered as fuck, it's like staying. I would treat it as like
not a fucking shot I could fight within 2 weeks of one of my MMA fights.
Oh no, I took a handful of fights on like 3-4 weeks notice.
Yeah, I've had to recover. So my first fight, when I made my debut, I went out there and fought that guy with a partially torn elbow.
Oof.
Which is why I didn't throw any jabs. If you go back and look, I maybe threw 1 or 2.
Which fight was this?
But I couldn't lock my arm out.
You were with us at this time.
Yeah.
Which one was this?
Oh, I think it was like Redemption.
Where Travis Doors, where you were like, your opponent's name was Zach, I think. Taller, curly-haired kid.
No, that was Zach Stasser. That was my second fight.
Right.
The first one was against this kid.
Yes, at the old venue for Redemption. Charlene fought that night.
Yes.
Against Violet.
It was like a wedding venue inside of a strip mall, if I remember right.
Something like that, yeah.
There were
That's what Landmark was?
Those big fake beams were everywhere, so nobody could see the fucking cage. They're in every recording because they made a fucking circle around the cage. It was like 6 of them. They were all like this big around.
Stupid. It's like, like you guys need to fucking be able to take this shit out.
Yeah. This is ridiculous. But I had to rely on my overhand because the kid was so long and I couldn't jab to get inside. So I just ate punches going forward.
I like how you're like, I had to rely on this. Didn't you fucking submit him in like a minute?
No, it was like 2 minutes.
Oh, I was way off. Fucker. No, you like relied on your right hand for about less than 2 minutes. Cause
oh yeah. Well, the dude was lighting me up.
All right.
Like from the get-go, like my corner came in because I had my wrestling coach, Justin Lozano, my jiu-jitsu coach, Kyle Mitchell, and then Crew Jones, my striking coach. So I had 3 people in my corner. They all came in and were like, man, you had us worried.
That's funny. I remember I was watching in the crowd.
The dude was tagging me and he was putting out a lot more volume, but so he took me down twice in that time. The first time I was able to scramble, I got back up on my feet and then I sat down because I'm flat-footed as fuck, and I was like, I know he's coming in, so I just slipped and threw overhand up there and I felt it land flush. And he stumbled back. He took like 2 steps back and he looked at me and I locked eyes with him and his fucking eyes were crossed.
Ooh, and I love that. You're like, oh, I got him.
I was like, all right, that one got him for sure.
Fuck yeah.
Now I'm going to try and put another one down the pipe. And so he panic shot in on me because I had him pretty wobbled. And I may have had a wrestling coach. I wasn't doing a great job of listening to him. So he picks me up and my head's like floating up above the cage. And I was like, shit, I'm kind of way up here right now. And then he slammed me like right on my upper back. I was like, fuck. That got a big like reaction from the crowd. All I could hear was, oh. I remember that. And I was like, son of a bitch. I've got to get him back. But what I realized is like once he got there, he was only focused on staying alive. He wanted to recover.
Yeah.
So I said,
he got his eyes crossed before he shoots in. Yeah, he's shooting for time. He wants to recover.
So I had to throw a bait out there, like a really good position, or he wasn't going to move, so I could like try and advance my position or dig for an underhook because he was staying low down on my hips. So I grabbed a Kimura and then I saw this setup like 2 weeks before the fight. Nick Ryan did it to me, and I was like, son of a bitch,
Nick's
that's
a beast.
Good. And it's like, as you're passing, I grab a Kimura or like that arm over, and I kind of just let it sit there, and then I let you pass my legs, and you roll across your back and swing your legs around completely. So I'm just giving up the pass if this doesn't work. And luckily, he took the bait. Like I dropped my leg and he went for the easy pass thinking he could buy more time. And it was just like a trap door for me straight to his back.
Nice.
But that only happened because I rocked him right before.
Well, yeah, you created the opportunity though.
Yeah. Otherwise, that dude was dogging me in wrestling. Holy shit. Every shot he took, he got the takedown. Mm-hmm. And that really sucked because I thought I had done a great job that camp on my ground game, and I didn't. Like one side of it was very, very sharp, and the other side was completely dull.
Well, I remember that fight went so fast that it was all those little mistakes, everything. You've had plenty of time. Sorry, my elbow's killing me. Plenty of time to digest.
Yeah.
To sit there and analyze and all that stuff. So, but in a 2-minute fight, MMA fight at that, fucking, it's not a lot of time to even take away. So that you have this much feedback is a good thing.
Oh yeah, well I went back and watched the fight 6 times before I left the venue because it was so short. And by the time I left the venue, I already hated rewatching that fight. I was like, this looks like...
I never rewatched my fight right away.
Hot dog shit. I suck.
Just getting this shit started, this podcast thing, I'm like, now I'm more comfortable watching myself talk. At first, I'm like, turning it off. Like, I don't want to hear myself fucking talk. I don't even want to hear it. I was like posting and ghosting.
And it was like, it was kind of eye-opening because I haven't recorded much of my training.
Mm-hmm.
Either. Like, I'm all relying on feedback and like how it feels for me and what I think I'm doing. And what I think I'm doing is not what I'm actually doing at all. And it took that video because you guys were saying hands up. I remember that.
And you're like, I do.
Yeah, I could have swore my hands were glued to my temples, and then there was a fucking picture of it where I'm standing in the center of the ring.
Classic Rob.
Shoulders completely down, hands well below my chin, like this.
That's why I like
and
that
one of my buddies,
like Guile.
Yeah. One of my buddies commented, and he was like, "You look like the Barstool Brawler." And it was like this old 1800s timey guy when they were fighting. With their knuckles backwards. And I was like, fuck, that's just about my stance.
Like, you still do that. You're like, fucking drunk Rob.
Which is crazy. And before that video, I had no idea.
That's it. I'm calling fucking drunk Rob. Like, that's the whole fighting style of drunk Rob.
The Barstool Brawler.
Yeah. That's too perfect.
Zero finesse, just flat-footed, hands down.
I mean, I hate it, though, sometimes, because you'll stand there, and I'll technique, and we'll sit there and trade. I'm like, this motherfucker's no technique, and he's tagging me. This motherfucker. So, especially if I get you in the clinch, I'm like, fuck, he's strong. I'm like, I can't. It's even hard to get in a good position against you, because I'm not going to sit there and fire shots from a bad position. Like, that's kind of the opposite in Muay Thai. Mm-hmm. You want to have a good balance and all this stuff once you get in there. Otherwise you're going to get swept or elbowed.
See, and from like the wrestling perspective, the moment you grab a hold of me, it's like, oh, this is more familiar now.
Yeah. You're like, oh, you fucked up.
You're stepping a little bit more into like my realm because now I know how to unbalance you from your collar tie. Most people don't know, like when you anchor yourself to me, if I can read that right, I've got an anchor on you through your arm if you're staying stiff.
Yeah.
So it's like, I try and tell people like the beginning of hand fighting, Juan does a really good job of this. And it's like your opponent should feel every post that you get. If I get an underhook, I'm not just grabbing it and holding it there. I'm ripping it across.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't just be touching to touch or get a position to get a position. You should be manipulating somebody like that with it.
Yeah,
like
with
if I get an overhook, you're either coming up or I'm weighing you down.
I'm going to do something with every position. Yeah.
Yeah. And even like the more experienced guys from our smoker team, like if they get to a spot, they're not punishing me for it. Whereas I'm looking to punish immediately.
Yeah. Yep.
Like if you grab like a double plum and you start trying to feed me knees, I'm going to shrug, post up on the elbows, and then I'm walking you straight into the corner because I'm holding your center of gravity, and I'm just going to guide you where I need you to be. Even though I'm losing the hand fight, you're still suffering for it.
Right. Well, and there's going to be a counter to all these little positions too. Like there's always that give and take.
Yeah.
So, but you're giving a lot of these kids, I say kids, but like our smokers, I haven't thought about it in those terms, but that you're kind of giving them that strong look. Like, that's good for them to hear. Do something with the position when you find yourself in it.
Yeah. I'm never just like,
well, something that
like even just jujitsu. Like, you never just get to side control. Like, you're going to get there and I'm going to do my job to make you as miserable in that position as I can. Mm. And it's like, you're going to have to fight every second to hold me down. Even if a lot of the shit that I'm doing is all a bluff. Like, it's all bluff. I'm just trying to get you to move. I just need to know where I'm in danger. Mm-hmm. So I'll start doing stuff that's completely wrong. Like walking my hips out back, forcing you into north-south, hoping you'd take a risky grab at an arm. Mm-hmm. The same deal in Muay Thai. I don't know what I'm doing most of the time.
Okay. But you know that aspect.
But I know you don't want to be off your center of gravity. So I'm just going to put all my focus, like if I'm hard stuck, I'm just going to put all my focus into making you unbalanced.
Exactly.
And then when you adjust, that's when I'm going to find whatever it is I'm looking for.
So one of the main things, as soon as you said that, I was like, you fucker, because I remember some of our rounds. But because, like I'll get in the full plumb and I'll start trying to drag you down and I'll start pulsing. So it takes that energy away.
Yeah.
But you won't fucking let me get there. You're just like fucking fighting. It's just like an upper body lock. And I'm like, and by the time I get to here, you're not fucking strong enough to sit there and set back down for a dump or a fucking transition.
Yeah, and that comes from me having my feet planted.
I get it.
Like I can't do that goofy meatball stuff if my feet aren't planted. I mean, that's kind of like what I am, because I'm not very schooled on like how to condition to be a fighter, or like doing like explosive plyometrics. Mm. For the longest time, like when I was conditioning for like ranger selection, I didn't know how to style a workout for it to be better for endurance or strength. Mm. I saw that's a big number. I'm going to try like the big three, like bench, squat, deadlift.
I see.
I trained for those, and then I hoped it carried over and like was applicable to my sport, which it kind of is. I mean, it's not the greatest conditioning program. It definitely,
but at least you're developing like strength, like true strength.
Yeah, and it gives me like a bit of my style, because I get to these like sticking points, and because I'm so like that second kid that I fought, whose name was Zach, out of Gig Harbor.
Yeah, my mom knows his aunt. It's the weirdest shit.
Yeah. I had no idea down at 155 that I was, that much stronger than him. Mm. Like, it was end of the second round before I caught wind of like, oh, if I tie up with this guy, it's game over. Which is why in the third round, you kind of saw me taking a little bit more risky shots, because I was like, man, if I get in on a leg, I know I can lift this guy, and there's not much he can do.
I remember you got. The word I would use was sloppy, but yeah, you get some sloppy shots.
Yeah. But yeah, it wasn't working. I lost that fight, and I went into the second round, or the third round, knowing I lost the first and second, so it was time to like we talked about. Yeah, fuck it.
Caution to the wind.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Now it's like, if it wasn't before, now it's hands down, flat foot, barstool brawl type of deal.
High risk, high reward.
Yeah, I've already lost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like, if you know you're down in the cards, you know you've already lost, throw that. I'm not trying to say fucking take your head down or drop your hands and fucking march your head forward. Like, be smart, be disciplined, but go after it.
Yeah.
You've already lost, and you still got a round to go. if you don't,
it's a bit of a calculated risk. Like that dude, I felt his power, and I was like, I just don't think he throws hard enough to put me away.
Mm-hmm.
Like even when he landed clean, it's like I'm fine. I'm bloody, but I'm fine.
Right.
So I was like,
I like blood. It's all right.
I always look better in red.
A little bit of color. So let's talk about your knee. I know, unfortunately, you're supposed to fight the same night as Anthony and Darko and G and everybody, but the knee kind of had other plans. So what happened exactly? And go into sort of the state of mind that you have to deal with when that shit happens.
So my knee went out 5 days before my fight.
Mm-hmm.
And
you text me and you're like, I'll be fine, or some shit like that. Or like hopeful thinking, which every fucking fighter thinks they're going to be fine in a couple days. I still think that way about myself. So I'm like, oh no, I'll be fine. Got this busted out knee. Can't even walk. It's given out. Like tomorrow. Be fine.
So I was thinking if I could just walk to the cage without a limp, I'll do it. But it kind of didn't work out that way because somebody put into perspective for me. Like it's bad now, but if I go in there and something else happens to it, like my tendon could just be gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Kyle?
My MCL, yeah. He was like, you got to think about...
That sounds like a Kyle statement for sure.
You got to think about work too. And even though I'm laid off at the moment, I got to go back sometime in the next 6 to 9 months, and I'd rather not be in a cast.
Yeah.
But what had happened the day of the injury, and it's probably the thing I've been stuck on the most since Darren left, is I saw him going to sidetrack and then meet back up with this story for a second.
Yeah, it's fine. Do that all the time.
So Darren, the most high-level IQ shit I ever saw him pull was a random Tuesday. We were sparring, and he happened to clash knees with me throwing kicks, and then he clashed knees with Juan, and then he clashed knees with a third person. Each time just going kick for kick, smashing knees.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, that's it today. Took his gloves off in the middle of sparring and said, something's off. I'm gonna call it a night before I get hurt.
High level IQ.
Which is, I'd never seen that before. Like I've gone in.
He went anti-ego with that.
Yeah, that was the most mind-blowing thing to me.
Well, because think about how like we operate. We're like, no, we need to keep going and get this back. I need to get back on track. I need to keep working through this. He knows himself well enough and is smart enough to call that off. I like that. I never heard that.
Yeah, which fucking blew my mind. Because I didn't think about it until a couple months later when I was training over at Logic. I was rolling on a Sunday open mat over there. And I kind of like finished up, got some good rounds in, and then I'm mentally checking out. Like I'm kind of doing my cool down stretches, and I check out. And then somebody comes up to me as I'm putting my slides back on, getting ready to head out to my truck and go on about my day. He's like, hey, you want to get one more round in?
Mm-hmm.
I'm already out of the gym and I've turned it off. And I go, yeah, I'll get one more round in. Me and this dude are like tit for tat. Like any round could be given to either one of us.
Okay. It's close.
So, yeah. And that's before when I'm completely engaged. And then the mats are super sweaty. So I lay down. I pull guard, which is shameful to admit, but it was just one roll. I've never pulled guard in comp.
Okay.
If the dude's a better wrestler, he's a better wrestler, and I'll I'll pay for not being as good as him by giving up a takedown. That earns him 2 points. I'm not going to pull guard because somebody's better than me.
Okay.
Which is a little bit egotistical, but I think it's the only way is to like punish myself for being shitty.
Okay.
But so I pull guard because I'm like, I don't want to get hurt. And the dude goes for a pass. And I don't know why I didn't see it coming, but I went forward rather than backward, and I didn't swim for my underhook when I should have. And I didn't frame out his knee. And his knee came and broke my nose, like clear to the side, like a whole fucking half inch, like all the way up at the bridge.
Damn.
Not this little cartilage piece, right. Like all the way up. And I was like, fuck, I should have listened to my gut. Like I mentally checked out. The dude asked me for one more roll, and I agreed to it, even though I had that off feeling because I was checked out of sparring. That dude didn't. He was locked in the whole time. He knew he was going to continue training, and it was just that little bit of mindset difference that got 100%. My nose broken. And then the same thing happened to me that day. Travis came in, and Travis is a phenomenal training partner, and he asked if I wanted to get some wall rounds in before I left. Well, Crew Jones had just smoked me.
Oh, you're talking about when we were doing the MMA rounds on the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't a part of that day's plan. That was ad-libbed on.
I know. He's like, we're going to go do fucking wall rounds.
Yeah, I had just done pads as though it was going to be the only thing I did that day.
I know.
So I was going hard.
I put on the little kitty gloves because I didn't have my MMAs on.
Yeah. And, so I check out, and then I'm mentally deciding if I want to get these extra rounds in. And I told myself I'll cool off, and then I cooled off a little bit too much where like my mind started to wander about shit outside of the mats. And then that's when that injury happened. I wasn't listening to my gut that said, you're a little too tired for this. You ran, you lifted, you hit pads.
Yeah.
You're in a huge caloric deficit. This last little grind, is it really going to be worth your while? And at the time I had said yes, but my mind wasn't in it. Like I was just kind of going through the motions. And that's when the wrestling got sloppy. And I was going for dumb bullshit that I never go for because I was mentally checked out and I had gotten into a bad spot. So as I'm going for this like Hail Mary Uchi, like I'm going back for like a lat whip, and I've got like a hand on his tricep, and I'm kind of reaching over the head, grasping for straws, and I kick my leg back. Well, my leg gets caught right around here as I'm going for this whip, and he goes for a rear back trip at the same time.
Oh, shit.
So I've just now put my leg between his legs as he's coming down. And as I'm pulling it back, my toe gets caught on the mat, and he hits my knee sideways.
Ooh.
And I heard a big pop, and it wasn't so bad immediately. That night, it kind of felt a little off. But the next day was brutal. The next 2 days were brutal. I couldn't fucking put my heel on the ground.
Oh, wow.
I could barely put on shoes. And it was like, fuck, I'm 5 days out from my fight.
Right.
Like, can I recover from this?
You'll know by the next day if it's gone. If it's there and gone, which fucking happens sometimes, but
yeah,
more than that, usually not a knee though, isn't there and gone.
I gave it 3 days of time, and I was still cutting weight to the best of my ability,
preparing for the fight,
which at that time And I was like, fuck, I can't move around as much. So I had to eat even less. Mm-hmm. So my body's not recovering. Everything fucking hurts. My knee hurts worse than everything. And I'm trying to go break a sweat in the gym. So I go warm up for a fighter in camp. My warm up was 10 minutes on the treadmill walking before I walked to the sauna. Okay. I couldn't even do that. I walked for 10 minutes. It started feeling good. Mm-hmm. And then I stepped down off of the treadmill.
Like, nope.
And it fucking cracked. And I almost fell over in the gym.
Yeah.
And I was like, that pop was what caused me to pull out of that fight. Mm-hmm. Fighting a guy with a bit of a torn elbow, still doable. There's other shit I can do.
But a knee, man, that's everything.
Yeah.
Every movement.
Especially being flat-footed, or even if you move around a lot. It's like, either way, it's supporting half your weight the entire time.
Exactly.
And I was like, now I can't shoot. Now I can't sprawl. Now I can't kick. Now I can't fucking plant on it. Well, I can't change direction on it.
You can't do anything. And that's why you see so many people drop out when they blow out their knee.
Yeah.
And it's such a common injury in combat sports. And not even just combat sports, but high-level sports like look at NFL, all that shit. Man, they're constantly fucking up their knees, pulling hamstrings, all that shit. But those ligaments, man, especially the bigger joints, that shit's fucked. Like,
there was a while there where I couldn't even get it past 90.
Damn. Like, and how long has this been now? About 3 weeks?
Probably 3 weeks.
4 on Saturday, maybe? Isn't that right? Right in there, probably.
Yeah, I remember it being in the beginning of the week. I think it was either Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
So coming up on 4. And it's like,
okay.
It still gives me guff. Like right there, it hurts.
Yeah.
Like the fact that I can't touch my heel to my butt.
You just got to keep working. Like hopefully keep letting it.
It squats under load pretty good. Like once I get it warmed up, I can hit like 185 for 10.
You're still a fool for fucking doing that though.
But it's got to get blood somehow.
I know, but usually people don't go straight into squats, but fucking old drunk Rob.
Meatball. I only know one way of training.
It's actually funny because like I know that like you blew out your knee and stuff like that, and I went to the fights this last weekend, WFC at the Emerald Queen. Mm-hmm. And Eddie Blackburn was the one doing like the promotion and all that stuff. And he used to spar at Eddie's garage. I've known him for a long time. He reached out originally to see if we had anybody MMA wise to get on there for as a pro-am. And I was like, Rob, but he's already fucking matched for April 19th. And so as soon as
fuck.
But no, as soon as I heard about that, I was like, I'm gonna fucking bring it up to him bring it up to you as soon as we have the proper opportunity. And so as soon as the knee, because like let's say you fucking first round submit that guy or whatever on April 19th, would you want to take another fight, and fight at the Queen?
Yeah.
Or because of this, like let's say it was a quick turnaround, like add another week, and you're like, dude, it's fucking fine. Because you see how like the weird fighter shit, like you can come back in a weird time. I have come back like, especially my lower back. I'll blow out my lower back, but I'll like force myself to work through it, and it like fixes itself. Not really, but
yeah, I get that a lot with my ankles. Like whenever I roll an ankle, they normally come back pretty quick.
Yeah,
and it's mostly because I don't respect that injury.
Well, the old adage is like, get off your ankle and stop moving and all this stuff. And then they start looking at actually people that keep it moving and stuff like that. And recovery is fast. Yeah. Way faster.
Which is why I'm squatting with this thing.
Well, I get it. I'm not trying to tell you not to. Like, well, because you got to get the synovial fluid in there and everything too, from having it bent under load.
Yeah. Which
Ben Patrick, knees over toes guy, always talks about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do like squats. I do like a more solid warm up now with like weighted ball. I do sort of like almost jumping squats as like a part of my warm up. So whenever I say I squat, I do like 3 variations of it.
Okay.
But yeah, so in 185 for a back squat is not that heavy.
No, not at all.
But it's enough to get my knee thinking about healing itself, because there's been no swelling and there's very minimal bruising, and the bruising's all gone now. But it's just like getting it through that full range of motion under load.
Yeah,
is what I'm working on.
That mobility back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you start doing these squats and they're at that weight, that's actually like a fairly proper weight, or even a little bit more for combat sports, because you don't want to be like super jacked squat guy, because you're going to be slow as fuck. You can be, but you have to have like all that explosive fast twitch to back that up.
See, I think that
maybe not for flat foot Rob.
I don't know. The debate for me is still out, because if you're lifting with proper technique and you're going through a full range of motion and you're doing like your stretches and whatnot, I've seen some of the most explosive guys I know are like bodybuilder types that you would think would be stiff as a board, but they're not. They'd move like how I imagine like the kettlebell guys move.
I don't mean bodybuilders. I know bodybuilders are a little different, but like your standard weightlifter that sticks to like the strongman shit. Strongman, like I bench as much as I can, I squat as much as I can, I deadlift as much as I can.
Yeah,
and again, bodybuilders, they'll do fucking like 15 sets of 30 fucking curls and stuff like that. They do crazy amounts of stuff. So it's a bit different, but like I don't want to say like your average like LA fitness goer, but like the people that know what the squats, the big three, you know what you're looking at, and then they start with that, but don't incorporate all the other things. Like let's say you're going to do that for MMA training. It's not going to work very well, because you're going to need a lot of that explosive stuff. You're going to need a lot of mobility and stuff. And just doing those three doesn't offer a lot of that.
Yeah. And I think that comes more back to like working the muscle through its full range of motion.
Exactly.
Like I'm not stopping at 90.
Well, exactly. That's the
like,
fucking knees over toes.
Like I'm going as range. Far down as I possibly can with as much weight as I can. So it's like kind of finding a happy balance between the two of like as much weight and as far as your muscles will allow.
Right.
And that I feel like helps with like the rooted feel that I get like through my legs. Because when I do stand flat footed and I get into like, I call it like clashing horns or like butting heads with people, even on like the wrestling side, I'll lock up with dudes who I have no business locking up with just because I think it's fun. Like
when you know you're strong, and if you're down for it, like that mental strength fucking brings a lot to the table.
Yeah. And I think it's because I'm so flat footed and I don't stand on like the balls of my feet. Like I'll dig in, as the expression goes, like dig in with your heels.
Well, and that's a big difference for your style compared to, your style or MMA, whatever you want to call it. But because I know your style is a little bit more unique. I don't want to say like you know what I mean. I don't want to just fucking throw you in that group. But what I'm getting
no one's ever called me graceful.
You're not, but that's fine. But in the Muay Thai side, like you want to be on your toes. You want to be light on your feet because you want to be reactive. And you're going to be higher up because you're not going to have the takedown threat. So completely different aspect. And that's why like we always talk about the adaptations taking Muay Thai as a base for your stand-up into MMA. Because, it's pretty standard, like that you're going to use these set weapons in MMA as well. So that's why you see a lot of people. But they're not going to stand tall like that. They're not going to stand on their back foot, which is something that I struggle with. I like the boxer forward, more weight on that front leg style. That's more a little bit more my style, but I like to stand tall in that position as I'm doing Muay Thai. So that's where you see kind of like that march forward the way that Crew Jones does, because I'm pushing forward off the back leg. Like I'm pushing off the back leg to advance. But if somebody were to shoot down on me, like I'm not going to have the base that you have because of all these things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And your, especially your wrestling background, having that base and like being ready to go at a low weight any second, that really preps you up for having strong explosivity going up. So like when you get us in like the body locks and stuff like that, it sucks. Like it's like, fuck, dude, this dude's and like you're to your point, you know, you're a lot stronger. I don't want to say than you look, but you train for higher level strength, because everybody's like, oh, says I'm strong for what I'm fucking 210 pounds right now. Like, yeah. And they're like, oh, you look like you're 190. Like, no, fucking not at all. But it's just each person's a little bit different. And getting back to the transition from taking Muay Thai into an MMA base, like you have to change things up. You have to make a few adjustments. Just like a wrestler, you're going to be able to just stand like a fucking wrestler in an MMA fight. Yeah. You need to be able to have your hands up, defend punches, even if it's just defending to get to shoot. Like you need to have some sort of knowledge of a stand-up game. So you having a good base on the other side gives our guys on the Muay Thai side like a good look. So like Travis, fucking short and stocky. Try to get him in clinch, especially like with the gloves on, try to get him that fucking gable grip. Like, and so I like try to grab the ear and pull and sweep. Dude, he just grabs me and squeezes. I'm like, I can't fucking do that. But I'm like, I'm gonna elbow him. Like, I'm not gonna elbow him. But it's so short too. Like he really has that low center of gravity.
How like different the body styles like translate across from like jiu-jitsu to Muay Thai. Like people are like, oh, he's really good over here. He's got a good gas tank over here. I wonder if he would have one over there.
Yeah, I'm garbage on Jit's side.
And it's like
hot garbage.
The complete opposite, like in terms of conditioning and moving your body. Like being good at one does not mean you'll go be good at the other.
I remember Sean saying, remember Gaspar? Sean Gaspar?
He was the old owner. Before my time.
He was the old owner of the gym, and I used to like once in a while go over there. Like Marcelo would come Tuesdays and Thursdays, but he'd push everybody through like an old D1 circuit warm up. Nick Ryan's warm up, like very similar. All the shrimps, but a lot of stuff. And it was just so different. It's like I'm in good shape. Like we used to do this crazy fucking Rich Franklin style 1 minute everything workout. I've talked about it a bunch, but that was how I met the guy, like Taki and Crew Jones. And so I was in really good shape. Like I was in shape from that before I ever even stepped into the gym. I was running stairs at Stadium High School. So I was in fucking shape. Best shape ever. 6-pack, everything. Fucking, and then, which I'm back to now. It's nice to be 40 with a 6-pack again, but been working really hard. But when I would transition or I'd go do the kickboxing, like pads, just, you know how it is, like 1, 2, 3, 2, boom, double kick, everything. High pace, high volume, flinging yourself. And then you go push yourself off the ground for an hour to 2. You know what I mean? Like all that. And like having somebody on you, having to push them off, like all these, and find positions, use your brain that needs to know each little detail while you're getting smothered by a dude. It could be your size. It could be, can't remember his name, but he's fucking huge. This dude's like, he's like Thor. This dude's like not Kevin, but you know, because you know bald head Kevin.
Yeah.
But like he was built like him, but a little taller, like my height. And but not quite as jacked, but fucking heavy, dude. And he would just get top mount, and I'd be like, fucking can't do anything. So I just, and I'm dumb. Like I don't know what I'm doing on jiu-jitsu. Like I'm doing Muay Thai for 14 years, but jiu-jitsu, like white belt, nothing. So I'm like, well, I'll roll with Crew Jones. He's like, that's a good little move. And he's like, it's because he's my coach. So I used to do, remember RJ Murphy? Skinny RJ with the dreads?
I think so.
He's a postal worker. He taught me how to dig the elbows into the knees to split the guard, right?
Oh, the fucking can opener.
And so he goes,
that'll get me pissed off.
So that's what Drew Jones tells me. So he teaches me this like the first. I'm not even a member at the gym yet. So this is like 2011.
He's teaching you to can opener.
This is like 2011. And I'm like waiting. So yeah, he's like doing it to me. And I'm like, God damn. I was like, yeah, that's effective. And so I never knew this. And so I do it to Drew Jones. He's like, don't do that. He's like, if you do that to like Bladen or Kyle, they're going to fuck you up. I never knew. It was like, RJ taught me this. He's like, yeah, that makes sense. So I'm like, I learned like a dirty technique, used it. And like, then I'm like, why am I getting crushed all the time?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's the jiu-jitsu experience for like 2 years. The first 2 years is just that.
Yeah. But the other side of jiu-jitsu, man, is my back and my neck are so bad. Especially my lower back after blowing it out so many times. Mm-hmm. I'll go over them and be like, yeah, I'm going to roll. By the end of the night, I'm fucked for like 4 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just not worth it. And as much as I'm not passionate about jiu-jitsu the way I am Muay Thai. Like, I love striking. I always loved everything about striking. I never was too deep into like even pop culture, like Rocky movies and all Karate Kid. Like, I'm watching everything about striking. Not really about wrestling or jiu-jitsu. I didn't even know what the fuck that was until it was like 2000s. MMA started getting popular. But I'm not passionate about it, but I would go try it. And I know it's valid. I know I need to know it. But every time I go over there, man, I'm fucking wrecked. Like wrecked. My neck, like, oh, dude, I can't even sit in my chair. I can't get in and out of the truck. Like, okay, I'm going to go try it again. After that heals up. And now it's my back. And I'm walking around with a walker in the house. Yeah. So like, and this is consistently like every time I'll go do maybe 2-3 days.
Something that people don't like talk about enough, or I feel like nobody talks about it, is that jiu-jitsu is way worse for your body than Muay Thai is.
It's all joint manipulation. It's like manipulating your joints to stop you.
Yeah. Right. And you're also using them
chokes and shit
to lift you up. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've bridged my full body weight with another grown man's full body weight on like the back of my neck.
Exactly.
And it's like now
my hands, dude, already got arthritic hands.
Pushing like a low cart around at work, and I had to hold my neck up, and it was so tight that my neck is like pumped up from just pushing this tiny cart around at work.
And I'd say like that's the combat sports trade-off, or any high-level sports, but you think about concussions.
But I think it's the worst from jiu-jitsu is what I was getting at.
Well, I would like agree.
The ultimate for like maybe not the middle-aged guy, but like the guy who hasn't done a whole bunch of sports.
Your body's not conditioned for all those sports.
A lot of like Joe Rogan. He's like jiu-jitsu.
One of those guys, yeah.
I think Muay Thai would almost be better for them than jiu-jitsu. You get a little bit, well, not even, because if you're rolling in the gi, you're still getting your face all marked up. I can't tell you how many times I've come home from a gi night, and my wife is like, "Is that a fucking hickey on your neck?"
Oh, Muay Thai
it's just gi burn. Like,
we're doing clinch. I mean, same thing for clinch. You got your fucking palm, like you're making the crick of your hand right here, and you're wrestling in that fucking forearm into the all the time. Like, oh, is that a hickey? And like going out like, no, motherfucker, I look like a Dalmatian under my shirt. Yeah, this is just the only one you actually see.
I'm bruised all over.
Yeah, I'm fucked. Like, I'm wrecked. That's why I always tell everybody. Like, I was going around the other day running a bunch of errands, and I wear these things called salampas. They're those little patches, and they fucking work really well. And I'm like here and fucking on my legs and on my body. It was a rough night because we were doing clinch the night before. Mm-hmm. It was like last Thursday. So I'm driving around Friday, and people are like, some people know what they are, and some people are like, what the fuck happened? And I'm like, oh, this fucking hurts. Same thing. I'm like holding my elbow the whole time. Mm-hmm. And people are like, you know, like dapping with my other hand, and they're like, "Oh, what's up?" Like, my fucking elbow's so fucked, dude. Because think about, like, I'm holding this motherfucker. This is the other side, but I'm holding it like this every time you catch. So every time.
Over and over
get that
again.
Fucking snap. So as soon as I do that, like this one starts to bother me. This one I tore like a year and a half ago probably, and it took like 10 months before it would stop. And you know how it is, you're holding fucking pad. Like cannot hold pads. I mean, I can, but I'm gonna have to put in a lot of other work getting everybody ready.
Right.
Like it's that pad holding shit's kind of invaluable when you're designing fighters, like getting them to understand how to punch and kick at someone versus a bag or a drilling partner.
I used to way overlook the value of pads. It's like, why am I doing this? I could do this on a heavy bag.
Well, up until the 80s, they didn't even really do pads. Like, it was all like shadow boxing, jump rope, fucking sparring.
Shadow boxing, I do think, is like an incredibly underutilized tool in terms of like
100%. People don't even
building hand speed.
Used to do 10 rounds a day.
Yeah, it's not just a warm up to get you flowing.
No, it's everything.
If you throw at nothing and you're still off balance.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Like,
That's a great way to say that.
You should be able to shadow box full blast and maintain your balance the whole time.
Nonstop. Yep. No mistakes. And that's where that's a great point, because that is where you're able to dial everything in.
Yeah.
And you see the people that when they shadow box, even at the gym before sparring, they're like farting around. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, no, we need to be intentional, and they don't even know what that looks like. So I want you to go from 3 rounds when we task it to you of shadow boxing to 10 rounds on your own every fucking day, and watch yourself improve.
Oh, yeah. Like the footwork becomes better. The power becomes better.
Well, also,
the
you're
defense.
Checking yourself. You're shadow boxing. You're checking yourself. You can shadow box, you can listen to me, but you're not going to fucking shadow box 10 rounds in front of me. I did a whole fundamentals class we just shadow boxed. An entire hour class. Talking them through how to shadow box. I'm going to fucking do that again.
Yeah, dude.
I'm doing that again next week.
It's phenomenal because it's like, I don't judge people's like punch speed on how quickly the hand gets there, because that's just about universal. I judge how quick their hands are by how fast they're able to pull them back. Exactly. Like if you tag me, Juan's the king of it. Like there's everything is so crisp and so direct that it doesn't look like he's moving much.
Right, it's deceptive, and he really throws the shoulders in.
Yeah, and it's like, why is this shit landing so hard? But there's no opening. So like normally,
he's really tough. Yeah, he doesn't leave you much, and as soon as you see one, it's such a short, fast window, and he's planning something else.
You get to make him pay for that maybe once.
Yeah. Oh no. I don't and that's another thing I don't repeat techniques with Juan, because the second time you do it, he's already got it.
Yeah.
So my bag, I have to say,
which is like the wildest fight IQ ever.
I would say, I don't want to say Crew Jones is, because Crew Jones won't fight with his IQ the way that he has it. He's really smart, but he'll brawl. He likes the brawler side, which I do too. But I have to dig into my IQ the most for Crew Jones. I know I've talked about this, but here's what this breaks down to is my rounds with him. I have to play a very specific game plan, because he's going to come hands down for whatever fucking reason. And he's going to test you. He's going to walk you down, close that distance. He's going to wait for you to tag. He's going to answer with 2. He's going to let you hit him twice, and he's going to answer with 3. And so I'll frame against him against the chest to make sure he can't close that distance, and I'll keep working like little touches. But he gets tired of that real quick. He's like, all right, no, now I'm going to force my way in and start working this and that. And that's when I adjust again. I either move out, or I clinch, or I do a few things. But the most dangerous Crew Jones thing you'll see is when the elbows start to come. So that means he's turning off him being a nice guy. Now he's going to beat you. He's going to win this round. So he's not We're not sparring anymore. He's winning the round. And that's because that's why I was like, I've been dropped a handful of times by him. So once I see him start willing to go through elbows, I clinch up. And he's tough in the clinch. He'll fucking drive his forehead in it, and he'll open up for elbows.
Oh yeah, he's got the gritty old school style.
But he reminds me of like a technical Don Fry, like a Don Fry from Muay Thai. Like he's tough. He's Jocko Willink of our team, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit, that's weird. But I'm like, I'm gonna hold on tight. I'm not gonna, and I'm like constantly like trying to get my legs out to the backside, like in these clinch positions, and I have to dig into my bag of tricks for him, because if I give him long enough of one look, he's going to start to beat me. So I'm like Mr. Adjustment when it comes to him, but it's always a fucking hard round. Used to be, and we talked about this when we talked about walking our fighters down. It's like, how is everybody backing up? It's because the three of us are always walking them down. You too. But, that's how I learned to fight fire with fire and walk other people down. Because he's doing that, and I'm tired of being on my back foot taking this ass whooping from my crew. So I'm standing in the pocket like, I'm going to hit him hard. And I'm going to keep hitting him hard to the point where like it has to stagger him in order for him to come back and be like, boom, boom, and just right back forward. Yeah. But I was like, okay, this is how effective I have to be. Because you think about like what I call a tank fighter, somebody that tanks you down, tanks you forward. Mm-hmm. If you're not going to go leg kick a tank, bro. Can you do that? You're in the army. Like I'm using a metaphor here. But he's like, you leg kick him, he'd probably get more pissed off. That's why I call him the juggernaut. Because he's going to fucking not stop. But when it comes down to like people like that, you're not really going to have the time to make much adjustments. So you're going to have to fucking fight them back, because unless you drop them or you can be like tit for tat, you can be counter, you can throw like a lot of kicks. But if he's a good tank and he can actually take that amount of damage, you might be in for some fucking trouble.
Yeah. Which is like, I deal with my rounds against Crew Jones is, I like to disrupt his rhythm as much as I can. And that kind of gets him throwing less of those, like, you mentioned how he progresses, like 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And then by the end of it, he's throwing 8 or 9 punch combinations. Mm-hmm. So I'll half-ass like an offense, get him to start throwing, and then I tag and try and move. Yeah. So he's not able to build as much. It keeps it more of like a 2 to 3 strike thing, because he, like you, puts a lot of weight over that front leg, and he's not able to clear that distance. So I almost kind of go back to like a karate style where it's like in, out, and then I'll cut an angle on like my third or second one.
That's good. As long as you can keep yourself off the ropes and give yourself that amount of space, for sure. Yeah. That's what when you're talking about earlier, when you find yourself up against the ropes, it's like, then it's too late. Yeah. In a lot of ways. And that's why I always tell Anthony and a lot of our other guys, like, once you get to the point where your back is against the ropes, or even your calf, touch it, how I teach you guys, like, to feel the calf on the lower rope as you back up, like right there, if you're backing up slowly, that's too late. Like if I could feel that, I'm like, oh fuck. And that's where I get where you're at that puncher's chance. Like, I'm not going to stay here. Yeah. I'm going to find my way off of here. And even if it's got to be like, take a shot to get out of there, or not even take a shot, but like high guard, heavy defense, and like try to block one heavy, but you got to force your way out of the corner, out of the ropes.
See, what almost helped me is, or it didn't almost help, it does help, is not trying to cut an angle off the ropes.
You mean going straight forward?
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that. I love that, because I like to set up elbows and shit coming right down the pipe.
I'm gonna get my head off center, and even if I eat one, like, I know that's there. Like,
that's the Crew Jones special.
But am I gonna try and get my head off center, get like a glancing elbow, maybe a cut, maybe a big bump? Or am I gonna fuck around and get head kicked trying to come off this corner, trying to cut an angle around?
Well, especially when you're in the corner and
that elbow,
we do the open the door and close the door kind of thing that we talk about.
Yeah.
That's where I love throwing kicks on those.
Because with Juan,
he does too. He goes head kicks.
Yeah, he throws head kicks every time I try and like run out the ring. So like if I'm in a corner and I'm coming out this way, he's going to close this side off. So this looks inviting. And then as I make my way down it, there's going to be a massive head kick or a massive body kick coming.
You gotta start coming more to the fundamentals, because we went in depth over that, like how to funnel people there, and how I'm like, all right, I'm doing this and I'm cutting them off here. I'm cutting them off here. When I do this, I know like the door is open over here. So I have to cut them off, or I have to have a counter there, and about how to get out of the ropes in that situation as well, or how to get out of the corner. But a lot
straight into their chest, baby.
Once you get yourself back there, it has to be enough to stop their progress, to disrupt them. Yeah, you have to disrupt.
I'll throw like a stiff jab out, and then if it lands or doesn't, I just need it to hit something solid.
Right.
Even if it's their guard.
I'll punch the guard all the time on purpose to open shit up. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then you follow that with like either a shoulder bump. I know Juan hates when you push people, but if I'm jammed up close enough to where my hands and my guard can touch your chest, I'll go for a shove, and I'll just be defensive or elusive with my feet afterwards.
That's kind of like the half long or the double long guard, because like I hate the shoves too, because it like really puts a lot of power. But the long guard, like you got to kind of bump that little shove. Yeah, but it disrupts, it jars your body enough to where like now you have to kind of regain that, and that's your exit. That's your fucking moment. Yeah. And if you don't utilize that, it's gonna be too late.
It's like high level people like Alex Pereira, they break the rules all the time, but they know the rules that they're breaking.
They know the rules well enough to break them. Yeah.
To get away with it.
Exactly.
So it's like my shove, I use that only as like a last resort, really, but I'm going to put enough power behind it to where you can't throw anything after I shove you. It's not like a little shove. It's like I'm getting in close enough. I'm driving off my back foot, and I'm going to put as much force into your center of gravity as I can. Yeah. And that's going to give me my space. And you can lob a head kick up there, but you might fall on your ass if you do it. Like, that's how hard I want to shove in to get off the ropes if I can't circle out.
Well, that's I don't want to say that's good, because it kind of falls into, I don't want to say it's a desperate situation, but like finding your way through. Yeah. And if you know your tactic in that space, that's perfect. Not perfect in like the technique, or perfect as far as a rule book, but perfect for you to find for yourself. Yeah. As a fighter.
It's not something you do every time, because it is.
Oh no.
It is that's readable.
Dangerous. And that's dangerous. You don't have you fucking shove me. You never know. Like if those arms come out, like I'm teaching Alex Pennington. Teaching him the long guard. He really wants to learn the long guard. I'm like pairing it with teeps, front kicks. But teaching him that little shove, but I'm like, you can really manipulate that arm if it's out. Not that it's easy, and like high level people like can do it well. But if you're a beginner, don't do that shit against a high level opponent. Yeah. Like don't try that shit on me. Try that shit on somebody you know is like your level or a little bit below. That way you can actually like build on how this works, as well as, putting into play.
Yeah, I love long guard people.
Yeah, especially because they're not good at it.
I know. You can long guard was broke down to me by this he was a Golden Gloves boxer back in Maryland. He was a lot bigger than me. This dude was like a genuine heavyweight, like 230 with abs, like 6'2", like jacked. We called him Farmer John. Okay. To give you any gauge on like the size of this guy. and I was trying to play long guard against him, and he was lighting me up with hooks. He was like, "Why are you doing that over and over again?"
Yeah. Crew Jones hates it too because he's an old boxer too. I'm like, I don't like it much, but I'll fucking frame up to get that space. But I use it very specific way.
Yeah. So that again is like knowing the rules before you break them. Because he said the read that he was getting off of me is anytime I put my hand to his chest or in his chin, that leaves only one option for me to strike with. And like really deliver some power. So he's like, all I'm doing is just watching for that.
Yeah.
And then I get to bully your other hand. And I know you're in range.
It's like now I will say, there are people in like the sport of Muay Thai who do it very well, very high level, but they're doing it specifically from Muay Thai. You throw somebody in with some Western boxing and good Muay Thai or good kickboxing.
Yeah.
Like those are the ones that get beat or can get beat. Not saying they will, because you never know. You know, it's the any given fucking fight, any given Sunday type shit.
Right.
You're better or you're worse on that day in that moment. But to practice these things, to build these things, cannot do it against somebody that's higher level than you, because they're going to know how to use that against you. Like that boxer dude, he's going to know what to do. It's like, oh yeah, I've seen this. Like me, I'm going to fucking clinch up with you. I'm going to get that arm here and I'm going to lock up on the side. I'm just going to knee you in the butt cheek a bunch of times. And, and I'll let go, or I'll find like a couple of ones, especially if we're just playing. I'm going to do it enough times where you're not really putting your weight on that back leg. You can't really put your, like, push off on that front leg. Like, yeah, I'm going to start chopping the leg off that. I'm going to start adding to it. Like, I'm going to start taking away little weapons. But I'm using my IQ, not like a bully, you know what I mean, at that point. To where you see people that are brawlers and stuff like that, I don't want to say they can beat people with the IQ, but the brawlers, you have to be a high IQ fighter knows you have to be very careful because they're sluggers. And one of those slugs can knock you out the park.
See, that's how I interpret like the Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev.
Okay.
Because technically that's, to me, is the pinnacle of brawler versus technician. Fiziev has better kicks, better boxing, better footwork, but he's lost to Justin both times by knockout. Like, there's something to be said about just bringing more fight and being able, like, making shit ugly isn't necessarily making it ugly.
It's the grit.
I wouldn't even say it's the grit. Like, he's finding his spaces in weird, like the collar tie uppercut that he just knocked him down with. That's some wild bullshit where I've never once tried to hold somebody's head from standing while I punch it.
I've seen that a bunch. I've never tried to do it. I've seen it. Yeah.
Like, the only other time I can remember it is Don Fry holding up.
Exactly.
Like, yes. What was his name? I can't remember.
I can never remember too.
I'm going to say something slightly racist if I try and guess it, like Yamasaki or something. But they were both out just the window. Punching.
Like, let's see.
And Gaethje brings that back like 30 years later, but with an uppercut.
So I'll do that with an elbow. So I'll fucking throw like a hook, and if it fucking lands, I'll grab you and I'll put like almost.
But an elbow kind of makes more sense because you're already from, like, throwing a punch from clinch range sounds bad.
It's going to take longer to develop. Yeah, it does sound bad versus something that's so short and precise.
Yeah, because
damaging.
That's the correct range for an elbow. Like, you might as well grab.
Yeah.
But grabbing for a punch is weird. Like, that's gritty brawler shit.
I love that, though, because you can be a technician, but a technician doesn't mean that you got the heart, like that heart to survive.
Well, Fiziev, I think, had both. So it's like, it's still a mystery.
Specifically, I'm just saying.
It's still like a mystery to me on how he lost both of those fights in that fashion. like, because when I do the math in my head, that shouldn't be how that fight goes. But it's how it goes.
Mm.
Well, both times, so every time.
And that's like those, like how it looks on paper is very different than how it looks in the ring, you know? And stylistically, like that's what makes shit fun. Especially like you put somebody in there's like an extreme technician versus somebody who's like a fighter, that gritty fighter.
Which comes back to like one thing is like developing student styles. Like how important is leaving the wonky shit that we do alone, like naturally, and then when do you correct it?
You mean for like from my perspective?
Yeah.
So that's a good point. Is because so like when Darren came in the way he fights, like it's a little bit non-traditional, but he does so well with it, right? And I wouldn't be like, you should fight like that because his hands are a little low. And still like little adjustments, but what he does is well. He's made it work for him. For a beginner, they don't have that. They haven't made something, they haven't broken those rules properly.
So like a blank slate, like how you've pretty much given up on trying to get me to stay up on my toes.
Not that I haven't given up. I think that you're not going to put in the proper discipline to change it, if I'm being real. Like, it's that, like, hey, man, this is going to take 10 rounds a day of you being on your toes every day on your own. And I'll know within a week or two whether you're doing that or not, because it's going to change your movement. If you decide to go and take that and do that, it'll show. If you don't, that shows too. And so it's like, okay, you're very comfortable in how you are and how you fight. But when it comes to like that specific situation is like, how much better can you be from what you already are or what you already were? And will this add to that? Will this add to those footwork moments like with the Crew Jones thing? Not that, because you already have the stable balance. You already have all the things that you do well. What can we add in to make this better? So let's say you're a big pot of gumbo, right? We're looking to add the best quality shit in, right? We're looking to add like bomb ass shrimp. We're looking at, or whatever the fuck it is. We're looking to add good shit. Not, I'm gonna go add some concrete, add some fucking bird doo-doo. We're gonna add some like something that you want, something that you need, right? And dialing that back to your question a moment ago, especially like from a beginner's standpoint, I will not give up on them, and that's where a lot of the fundamentals comes in. So if they can show up to fundamentals consistently, I'm going to continue to tell this to them. And I'll say the exact same thing they did to you. This is a discipline thing. Whether or not you want to be this disciplined to reap the rewards of it, or if you want to get by with what you already kind of got. And a lot of people are like, I'm good enough, but they're not good enough to hit that next level. And that's not a you thing because you're already up there. I guess it can be anybody that finds fault in themselves when it comes to that. I can find fault in myself for doing that. Where can I get better? Any edge, any avenue. And when it comes to a beginner, remember when you're a beginner, you're kind of like a self-starter in a degree, because the amount of time that you're actually training, unless it's wrestling or whatever, is outside of the gym is like, I need you to shadow box outside the gym. I need you to do all these other little drills. That hour or two I have with you every night or 5 nights a week or whatever it is, it's not going to be enough to get you to an elite status. And if you're coming to me saying you want to fight, do you want to fight poorly? Right? Like, I hope not, because you look at our sparring partners and our higher level guys, they don't do that poorly. And you're going to know through sparring if you're going to want to do this at a next level or go and do this at a competitive level. You should already kind of have a gauge.
Right.
Now, here's what I would kind of say is a lot of people are overconfident. A lot of people know what they know, which is a little bit, but don't know what they don't know, which is that deep chasm. And when you get again, some of our younger students that they're doing okay, but they may not be putting in that work to get to that high level. Not saying they have to. This is me being a coach. As a coach, this is my priority. Muay Thai is my priority. This is what I do. if you're outside here and, you know, you're a fucking real estate guy or something, and you can't show up with a black eye to a fucking meeting, then I don't want you to come to me and say, I want to be a high level fighter, because it's going to take sacrifice on that side. And so where I always get to a point is, you're a fighter with a day job like Darren was, like how a lot of us were, or you're a careersman with a hobby. You can, now, I don't like saying hobby is like as a negative thing, because you can be fucking a baller ass hobby. Like my dad built trains as his hobby. These are the teeniest, tiniest little people, and they're made perfect. Like, I don't know how he has the patience and the fucking articulation to do that shit. Something I never had any interest in doing, but he has the discipline to do it at like the best as he can. So anything worth doing is worth doing at a high level, but you see where people give themselves the pass.
Yeah. So what? I guess I should have elaborated more.
Not bad. I went on a fucking rant there.
No, it's all right. Say you're taking like a day one guy. Never played a sport. You teach him all the proper fundamentals. He develops like a bad issue. Like, let's say he likes the Philly shell. I hate the Philly shell. He finds a way to make the Philly shell work for him.
Okay.
When, as a coach, are you just letting him use that Philly shell?
When he
or deciding to build off of the Philly shell.
When he can use it, or they, he, she, whatever, they can use it effectively against me, Juan, or True Jones.
Okay, so you're kind of like using the coaches as like a template, or like
to a degree,
a litmus test.
Right.
Of like, is this shit really working, or are you just doing that on the day one sparring guys?
Right. Or have you developed it well enough to do a couple little moves off of it, but maybe not enough to go into that bag of tricks that you're going to need to have? You know, now the Philly shell is, I know you use that because as beginners, that's like the last thing you want to fucking do, because you're going to eat so much damage just right off the bat.
It pisses me off when I see people do it, especially as like a forward guy. Like, brother, this is not boxing.
It's not.
If you drop that front hand down, I'm going to cover it and I'm going to back you up, and eventually you're either going to end up on the ropes or on the cage, and then you have to get your hand down, and I just get to wail on you with my overhand.
When you don't have... So many people rely on that Philly shell, and they really play that boxer stance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, that low hand... and you already know me, I'm going to fuck your legs up and get in a boxer stance.
I know which way you're going to lean, too.
Yeah.
There's only one way you can lean to roll away from my overhand.
Especially if they're already on that back leg.
So I feint the cross, throw a head kick. Well, and even if it lands on a glove, you're so low that thing's coming up with so much power. Because it's sparring, people don't respect it, which pisses me off. It's like, if I throw a glove, even if you block it perfectly, that still fucking hurts. It's still enough to wobble you through a guard of solid head kick. So just because I'm throwing it light and it's bouncing off your glove and you still go back to doing it, like when that shit happens to me, my brain goes on like red alert. And I'm thinking, had he put some fucking hate on that kick, I'd be unconscious on the floor right now.
Yeah, you'd be. So
I'm going to switch something to respect it.
Yes.
And
that's what they want, is they want you to respect that and change your game plan.
Yeah, yes. That's what I'm looking for when I see somebody rolling back in the Philly shell. Because I won't say, don't do the Philly shell before I show you what happens if you go into the Philly shell.
Yeah.
So I'm going to punish you for it first. And then I'm going to go, hey, if you still didn't make a change from that Philly shell, I'm doing this because you're going back in that and you're leaning over your back leg. It only gives you one direction to go. I can read it super easy, and you're still not respecting these light strikes that I'm throwing light only because it's sparring, and your chances are, if you're in a Philly shell, you're new. Like,
you're not. If you're an experienced person doing Muay Thai or even MMA, and you're going to come in and try to do Philly shell, like, you should have learned your way out of that already. And the main reason, because I want to use this to your point, I love kicks on Philly shell because that reliance on range is so big. And what do I have in a longer range than boxers? My fucking kicks. Yeah. Right? So I'm going to be able to target that. If you have a strong jab off that Philly shell, that drive up jab, that can take me off take me up a little bit, kind of break my balance. That's one thing. But I'm going to control that hand. I'm going to start controlling. I'm going to get in there and wait for you to fucking pop that Philly shell. I'm going to cover that hand. I'm going to chop that leg. And after 3 or 4 leg kicks, especially in that Philly shell stance, you're going to adapt if you want to or not.
Because you can't just rock back over that rear leg and expect me to not just blast that front leg.
Well, and I hate standing up on the shell, but if I'm standing in a Philly shell stance, and I'm think about the old, I think he's in Winky Wright, used to stand like really wide. You can come up like this, but if I control that hand and chop here, you're gonna have 3 or 4 of those max before you're not able to push back out of range.
Yeah,
you're gonna be like, and like, it doesn't fucking add up in Muay Thai. So those guys that are beginners and you like the Philly shell, it looks cool at a high level.
I've watched my fair share of Floyd Mayweather highlight reels. And they look real cool in there in that rule set with
his promotion backing it, his refs. And, sorry,
with his 10 round. No, I don't
want to get into it.
I hate that too.
I respect a lot of things Mayweather does, and I don't respect a lot of things that he does. And I'm seeing more and more of that as a coach, as somebody that's being more analytical versus just worrying about me being a fighter. Yeah. Like, I'm worried about me. I'm in my lane. As a coach, I'm like, okay, like, what do I like? What do I dislike? What would I use? And a lot of that comes in. It's like a lot of it's middle of the road.
I'm always very wary whenever a promoter is a gym owner, which they almost all are.
And